What is up, everybody? It is Tuesday. It's Tuesday, October 9th. It is 11:05 a.m. My name is Anthony, and this is the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel. And Tezrim is the first guy to enter the doorway. He is now here, and he is living. And Kev Gretz says, if you own a PSVR, this is your day. And boy, is it. PSVR just continues to get a lot of love, a lot of good things happening for PSVR. And it's funny because we have a lot of PC VR players that have picked up PSVRs recently. Gary, of course, he didn't have a PSVR for the longest time, and he probably didn't care that much about a PSVR for the longest time. And me and Steve kept hammering Gary, and he finally succumbed to the pressure. He finally got his hands on a PlayStation VR, and now he knows that he should have probably had a PSVR all this time. It is not the, it's not the run of the litter. PSVR is a legit system, and we've seen it with Phil Yarn, and a lot of other people have been grabbing PSVRs recently as well. In fact, Paradise Decay, he just recently picked up a PSVR. Does anybody notice a trend here? There's a lot of people that are picking up PSVRs recently, and it's just because there's just too much good stuff. You got Astrobot, you got Firewall Zero Hour, you got Blood and Truth that is coming a little bit later. Probably early 2019, I think. And then, of course, the story of the day, as Crunchy is talking about Borderlands 2 VR exclusive, a timed exclusive in all likelihood for PlayStation VR. It is arriving on December 14th. And Crunchy says, too bad, Borderlands PSVR is single player only. I accidentally left my door open. Hold on one sec, folks. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to sip a little bit of this coffee and close my door. Be back in 1 sec. Whoa. I'm going to smack myself in the face there. So I had to close my door there. I don't want to have phones ringing in the background, so went ahead and took care of that. All right, so here we are. We're back in the mix. So basically, let's talk shit about him while he's gone. Yeah, honestly, guys, I would really love to have a sidekick that would just sit in my room right here on a chair. And then it's like, I need to look up something. Okay, stand up, stand right here, start talking about something. And then, okay, go back to your chair. I don't need you anymore. That's kind of what I would love to have. And then Bullet Ape says, so, Evasion. Anybody's mitts on it yet? And I've got bad news in that department. I still have not gotten my hands on Evasion. I did send a couple emails out yesterday trying to get a key for this game. For Evasion. Haven't heard anything back yet. I haven't checked my email this morning, though. So maybe I have a code waiting for me. Phil Yarn says Evasion, meh. It's interesting because there seems to be a bit of a divide on Evasion. I've heard some people, like this one guy, Ben Plays VR. For example, Ben Plays VR had a YouTube video for Evasion, like his review video for Evasion. And he had that on the Vive subreddit yesterday, and he was kind of ranting and raving about the game, saying it was very, very AAA. And then a lot of people that watched the video and stuff were like, I'm looking at this game, and it seems like, it's just a bunch of textures that kind of repeat forever. I don't see what's AAA about it. But it is one of these things, it really is one of these things where you've got to sometimes put a headset on your head and see the actual game on your head. Because right now here, we're looking at this trailer here. This is when Oculus, this is one of the original touch trailers where I think it was hyping up the fact that Oculus is finally going to have motion controls. And so they were showing all these different games and showing off the motion controls. But you can look at a trailer like this, you see all these different games, and I can see how there is a lot of flat gamers that could look at something like this and be like, this is VR gaming. These games look like they're from 10 years ago. What's going on here, man? It doesn't look that good, man. But it's one of these situations where really you gotta put the damn headset on your head. You can't get a good impression of this stuff by just looking at the trailers. And there's some different comments about Ben Plays VR. Main Fan says Ben is very positive in his reviews, so he may be another one of these guys, positive Ben. He kind of leans towards the positive side of the coin. Chris Cox says Road to VR said it gets very repetitive. And Kevin Mars says, what's up, drinking beer today? No, this is not beer. This is coffee. This is some Pike's Place. Yeah. See, this is my second cup of coffee of the day. I had to get up super early this morning and give my wife a ride to the airport. And it's been a long morning for me. And so this is actually my second cup of coffee. I typically have a single cup of coffee in the morning. And then usually late afternoon, I'm starting to kind of I'm starting to kind of go downwards a little bit in the late afternoon, and usually I'll have one more cup of coffee in the late afternoon to kind of wake myself up. But this is actually my second cup of coffee of the morning, quite unusual for me. Now, Chris is saying, I have a PlayStation VR, but honestly, I don't like it at all compared to my Vive, but it's the only way to play the exclusives. Got the platinum trophy in Robots Rescue yesterday. Are you talking about Astrobots, or are you actually talking about the Playroom VR? Can you get a platinum just for Robots Rescue out of the Playroom VR? Or are you talking about Astrobot Rescue Mission and you're just kind of mixing it up with Robots Rescue? Not sure about that. Phil Yearn says, I think he's talking about Evasion, and I believe he mentioned this yesterday. It looks like a mix between Farpoint and Space Pirate Trainer. Okay, Chris was talking about Astrobot. Wow, dude, you got the platinum in Astrobot. That is pretty darn good. That means you found like a ton. Like, does that mean you found every little robot and you found every little chameleon and all of that? And Tekasura says, hey, Anthony. Hi, Anthony. Hey, chat. Yeah, what is up, Tekasura? Nice to see you. And let's see, what else did I want to read here? Oh, Chris Cox is saying, Evasion needed some big set pieces or boss battles. It's just the same few enemies and the same gun all the way through. So it does kind of sound a bit monotonous. And when Phil Yarn was talking about Farpoint and Space Pirate Trainer, that actually sounds pretty appealing to me. I like the idea of a space pirate trainer that is in more of a game where you're moving along and you're existing somewhere, but you're kind of having a space pirate trainer like battle, kind of a bullet hell kind of a battle, maybe even Blasters of the Universe a little bit. I'm not sure. I kind of want to try this game Evasion, but I'm worried that based on the $40 price tag, I'm probably going to ultimately decide it's something maybe to wait for a sale. That's just my gut instinct on it, but I really don't know. And then the other thing I wanted to say is, dude, I still have not played Farpoint. Can you guys believe this? I still have not played Farpoint. I got myself an AIM controller with Firewall 0 Hour, and I mostly bought the Firewall 0 Hour bundle just because I wanted to get my hands on the AIM controller. And then I was going to like hop on eBay or something and try to grab a cheapo used copy of Farpoint and check that out. And I just haven't gotten around to it, but I really should go ahead and do that. I should order Farpoint. It's something I definitely should do. So I can't even comment on Farpoint, which is kind of sad. And then Bullet Ape says, how long does Astrobot play average playtime to completion? You know, I believe you're going to spend probably about 8 hours or more in Astrobot. Somebody replied to one of the videos that I had yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, how far am I in Astrobot? Somebody said, Anthony, have you finished Astrobot yet? And right now I am on 4-3. I'm on level 4-3. So I've been through 3 of the bosses, and I'm on the level where I'm on the lava level. I just barely started the lava level, and then I had to leave somewhere, so I had to shut my PSVR off. And a lot of times I end up playing Astrobot while I'm rendering the 20-minute edit of this show, or I'm uploading the 20-minute edit of this show, because I do it on my gaming computer, and I won't typically play my Rift or anything while I'm trying to do an upload or while I'm trying to render, because I figure that'll just screw everything up. So a lot of times I sit over there. In the corner over there, I have a little setup where I can sit and play my Astrobot. So that's usually when I'm playing Astrobot, and I'm kind of taking my time through it and kind of working my way through it, not trying to like get through it super quickly. So a lot of people probably wondering, why is it taking me so incredibly long? But you know what? We've been in this show now for 10 minutes while I've been holding this cup of coffee. And why don't we go ahead and throw on our intro trailer? I made one just like 10 seconds before the show started. So here it is. Yeah, this is VR Game Rankings. We are a YouTube channel. We're on the internet. This is Daily Vlog Live, episode 226, Tuesday, October 9th. It is Tuesday. Tuesday is a day when a lot of things get released. And so we do have some new things to get into. We got the Great Sea. I've played through the Great Sea. I have my thoughts on that, but hold on a second. Yeah, we are on the internet. Can you believe that? We're on the internet. And you know what I found out on the internet? I found out about Borderlands. And so why don't we go ahead and check out this trailer? I've only watched like 10 seconds of it. So let's actually watch this full trailer here. And then we can talk about it right afterwards.
So, you want to hear another story, huh? One where the very fate of Pandora hangs in the balance.
Miss me, sugar?
Who's ready for a mother humping tea party? Freestyle! I will defend you to the death, minion! Okay, no, I won't! Booyah! That's how you do it!
So that is Borderlands 2 VR. It is coming on December 14th. And a lot of people will say, it's only single player, man. This is a single player version of the game. There is no co-op. Borderlands is all about the co-op, right? Well, I don't know. For me personally, I can tell you this. I played Borderlands 1 single player style. I didn't end up playing with anybody. Maybe like once or twice I ended up playing with a couple of other people. But you know what? I have this thing. I'll put a little bit of sound on here. I don't want to have too much sound, but just throw a little bit of sound there in the background. But I have this thing about getting a game that has a single player mission, right? Okay. And if you want to, you can immediately jump into co-op. You know, for example, like Halo 3. Like you could get Halo 3, right? And you would get Halo 3 and you could immediately play co-op and go through the entire Halo 3 game, right? Immediately on day one, co-op style. And some people would go to the store, they'd go buy Halo 3, they bring it home, they get a hold of all their buddies, and like 4 of them are going through Halo 3 simultaneously, and they're experiencing the campaign mode of Halo 3 as 4 dudes going through the Halo 3 campaign mode. And the same thing happened with both of the Borderlands games, right? And I don't know, I'm the type of guy, I don't know if anybody else out there is similar to me, where when I get a game that has this single player campaign, I feel like I gotta go through the entire single player campaign myself, single player style, before I do co-op. Because I just feel like co-op, like it ruins it. You know, it ruins the the cinemas. It ruins the vibe of the game because you don't know if your friends are going to be trying to be all funny and goofy as you're playing through the game. And sometimes you want to dial into the vibe of the game. And if you're playing co-op and people are talking about, they're yelling at people behind them, or they're yelling at their girlfriend to go do a Taco Bell run or something or whatever, and you're trying to play the game, you're trying to get into the vibe of the game. So I've always been the type, I want to play single player first, play through the entire game single player styley, and then get a hold of some buddies and play through it play through it co-op, and then nothing's spoiled. There's no cinemas that are spoiled for me. There's nothing that I miss out of it. But the problem with that is I never end up doing that. First of all, I never end up finishing the initial game itself in the first damn place, and so I never end up getting a hold of my buddies and all of us going through it at the same time. So it's always this catch-22 for me. But I can tell you guys a little bit about Borderlands. I remember back when Borderlands first came out, and I really liked the original Borderlands because Fallout 3 was my jam, and Borderlands seemed very similar to me to Fallout 3 in a lot of ways, except it was cel-shaded and it had this comedy vibe to it. It was cel-shaded and it had the comedy vibe, and I really liked it. And I played quite a bit of Borderlands, and it really did have a cool vibe to it. It's an interesting world. The world of Pandora is very interesting, but my question is anybody else slightly disappointed that we're not going to be able to play the original Borderlands in VR? Because I never finished it. I never finished the first Borderlands, and I have that other OCD thing. Does anybody else have this OCD issue where it's like Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 3 or Borderlands 4, but you never finished Borderlands 1, and there's something in your head that is telling you, you can't play Borderlands 2, you can't play Borderlands 3, you haven't finished Borderlands 1. You got to go back, you got to finish Borderlands 1, and then you can play these other games. And it's like this OCD thing. It's like having to put, it's like some of us, we take our video game library and we put it in alphabetical order, or, we do all these little things. And for me, it's kind of like that. I have a very hard time going into sequels if I never finish the first one. And you guys know me. I scratch the surface of these games. I never finish these damn things. So it's always problematic as far as that goes. But Dr. Freeman says, wait a minute, Borderlands 2 is better in every way. And Crunchy says the second Borderlands is better than the original on many different levels. And, lots of people are saying Borderlands 2 is a lot better. Crunchy says, I also have that exact same OCD kind of situation. And Phil Yarn says, that's exactly why I don't have Windlands 2. Yeah, it is a bit of an issue. And when these video game companies like Cytec Games, they come out with Windlands 2, they know about this issue. They know that there's a handful of people that no matter how badly they want to play Windlands 2, there's a part of them that says, no, you're going to ruin it for yourself. You got to play Windlands 1 first. They never get around to play Windlands 1 first, and then they never end up with Windlands 2. And so the developer ends up losing out on a good percentage of potential audience for the game just by putting a 2 in the game or a 3 in the game. And that's why you'll see a lot of developers, instead of having a very specific numbered sequel, instead they'll have a subtitle. And the subtitle, like a lot of times people like us with these OCD issues, we see that the game has a subtitle and we're like, oh, this isn't number 2, this isn't number 3, okay, I can jump in this is a subtitle, it's a side story, so I'm all good. And then people go into it like that. So, it is one of these things. But yeah, so I am excited about this. This is available on December 14th. I don't care about the multiplayer problem. And I wonder, I was thinking about the multiplayer issue. Do you guys believe that the fact that there is no multiplayer has something to do with the game engine, and it has something to do with getting Borderlands 2 to run on a vanilla PlayStation 4 with 60 frames for each eyeball, which then, of course, is going to be doubled to 120 with Sony's built-in doubling technology? Do you believe that the reason there is no multiplayer is because if they added that in and you're adding these other players in and all of that, it's probably going to, it's going to dip the frame rate. The frame rate's going to dip. It's going to be a problem. And that's probably why they did that. And Phil Yarn says, I do wish that Borderlands 2 was coming to Oculus Rift, to HTC Vive. He wants to probably see the higher end graphics. I mean, people that have a really good video card, this is the kind of game you could super sample the living crap out of this game, and it probably would look really, really good if you had an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive. And Chris says, wait a minute, wait. Borderlands 2 VR is only coming to PSVR? Are you freaking kidding me? This isn't coming to PC? And it's a bit of a head scratcher, actually, because when I think of Borderlands, I almost think more PC than I do console for some reason. Although the original Borderlands, was it day and date on console and PC? Because I think when the original Borderlands came out, I had upgraded. I was a console player, but I believed that I was a PC gamer at this time. I had built myself a PC gaming rig because I wanted to play all these console games in much higher resolution and better frame rates and all of that. So I built myself a PC. And when Borderlands came out, I believe I was a PC gamer at that time, and I played it on the PC, and it was so colorful and beautiful and everything. But for some reason, like when I think of Gearbox Software and when I think of Borderlands, I think more PC than I think console. So it is a bit of a head scratcher. And as far as the exclusivity, we don't know. We don't know how long this exclusivity window is. Of course, I'm sure all of us expect that this will hit the Oculus Rift. It will hit the HTC Vive. I mean, it'll hit Steam. It'll hit the Oculus Store in 2019. We just don't know how long of a wait it's going to be. Now, if the wait is similar to Moss, it's no big deal. Because remember when Moss came out on PlayStation VR and everybody was kind of jelly because they couldn't play Moss? And then it was like 45 days later, bam, Moss was available. It was a very short exclusivity window. It was a very minor annoyance in terms of Moss. And then Skyrim VR was a longer exclusivity window, but it wasn't ridiculous. We didn't have to wait an entire year for Skyrim VR. So we have to hope that it's a relatively short exclusivity window, because I'd love everybody on Vive and Oculus. Everybody else should probably get their hands on it. And then one of the other questions we have to think about is Phil Yarn. Like Phil Yarn, he just got his hands on a PlayStation VR, right? And he's playing like he's playing Astrobot and all that on his PlayStation VR. He might be checking out like Wipeout VR and some of the best that PSVR has to offer. And then you have this conundrum. You have a conundrum of, okay, Borderlands 2, it's available on December 14th. I'm going to be tempted. I want to play the thing right away. But would I be better off maybe waiting 2 months and getting it for a Rift or a Vive or something like that, and being able to super sample and all of that stuff? So that is going to be some of the debates that a lot of us are going to have that have all these different systems. I'm sure, like I can tell you, Gary of VR Roundtable, he's probably going to decide to wait a minute and not grab Borderlands immediately. And he's probably going to try to wait so that he can super sample it and play it on his Rift and do that. And Crunchy is saying, so wait a minute, is this full purchase price? If this is $59.99, that is pretty harsh. I mean, this is an older game. When did Borderlands 2 originally come out? It's been out for a long time. I don't know. I think this is a relatively hard sell. They could come out with this at $59.99, and there will be some hardcore PlayStation VR fans that will jump on this, and they're not going to worry about it. They'll grab it for $59.99 right now. But there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, really? Borderlands 2, $59? That's kind of harsh. Now, Skyrim got away with it, but Skyrim, you know, it's a different ball game there. And then a lot of people like Phil Yarn, Chris Cox are saying, nah, it's going to be $50. It'll be $49.99. And I think that's probably where it will be. I think $49, $39. It's not going to be less than $39, I'll tell you that. And if it's $39, I'll be mildly surprised, but it'll be somewhere in that category. So that is Borderlands 2 VR. We are excited about it. And I gotta have to imagine that on the Vive subreddit and the Oculus subreddit, there probably are a lot of PC VR players that are hella pissed about this. They're very pissed about this. And it's very similar to the whole Skyrim thing. And it is. Borderlands, you think of Gearbox Software, you think of PC gaming. And so it is a bit of a slap in the face to some people out there. Oh, it's on sale on PS Store right now, the pre-sale, $49.99. So there it is. So the price is $50. That's the other thing about PlayStation VR. It's kind of nice. You'll get prices for PlayStation VR games pretty quickly on PlayStation VR. And sometimes with Steam stuff, we have to wait for like the day it comes out before we find out about it. And Phil Yarn has posted several different times. Everybody out there, Wipeout VR, $12. $12 on PSN. So there are some sales that are going on. Phil, is that part of like the 2-year anniversary for PlayStation VR? Because I know a lot of people like Kevin Mars, I believe, was talking about, or Kev Gret was talking about, remember we got the 2-year anniversary coming up, right? The 2-year, yeah, the big 2-year sale. Has that started? Is that underway? Is Wipeout part of that, or did Wipeout just kind of get discounted and its price that way? But I can tell anybody, if you have a PlayStation VR, buy Wipeout. It's a no-brainer, absolute no-brainer. Grab that for $12. I still love Wipeout VR. I could still get back into Wipeout VR and play it a hell of a lot. So we'll have to see how that works. But I did want to talk about the Great C. So let me throw some type of Great C thing here on the board here. And so I had this old montage that I made of the Great C. This was a while back. This is a long time ago. This was when the Great C was first announced. It was this VentureBeat article, and they had the Great C hands-on adapting a Philip K. Dick short story into VR. That is Dean Takahashi. He was the guy that wrote the article there. He's actually a Sacramento native. And Secret Location, this is the developer of Blasters of the Universe. And of course, Philip K. Dick, he wrote the book We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, which was a short story that was then converted into Total Recall. That's the Total Recall. And so here's the Great C. We got some screenshots of it. We got some teasers of it. This was in that original VentureBeat article. And I kind of had my eyes on this for a couple of reasons. Number one, so we had a little quote here. This is from, I believe, the CEO, Ryan Andal, president and co-founder of Secret Location. He's talking about how they want to push the medium forward enough so that it can inspire other people to take risks about what is comfortable or not comfortable in VR. And that's a very interesting comment, especially having experienced the Great C all the way from the beginning to end. And I kind of understand what he's talking about in terms of pushing the medium forward. So this is kind of the information that we have here, the Great C. And then this is a little montage of some other things that the Secret Location is doing in terms of VR and stuff. But what I can do now is I can go ahead and put on the actual trailer for the Great C. There is a little short trailer for it. Got to resize this because it's 720p. 1 second here, folks. So yeah, this is kind of like an unofficial trailer, I believe, for the Great C, but it does give you some kind of basic look at the game here. And the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to bounce over to the Steam page real quick. So I'm going to switch to the web browser with small video window. And so here is the Steam page for the Great C. And I was really wondering about the price of this VR experience. And the price is $6. $6. Okay, so this is available right now. It says October 8th, but maybe it came out like kind of late last night or something. But I didn't think this was available until today. But the price is $6. There's only 4 user reviews, so we don't have a ton of reviews here. And they're basically describing it as a sweeping 30-plus minute experience developed from the ground up to push the boundaries of storytelling in VR, and it was an official selection of the Venice Film Festival. And so this is the Great C. This is what I'm talking about here. And I did get a chance to play this and play through the entire thing. And I was kind of pleasantly surprised that this was not 30 minutes. It was definitely longer in 30 minutes. For me, I felt like it was a little bit more like 45 minutes is what I would say for this, but maybe it's not quite 45 minutes because I think if it was, they probably would have advertised that fact. But basically, I'm going to tell you guys what the Great C is all about. So this is another example of how we could do storytelling in VR. Because when you think about VR, when we first got VR or when we started to think about VR, one of the things that we started thinking about was, okay, obviously we're going to play games with our VR headsets. And I won't spoil it. I will not spoil it. Crunchy says no spoilers. So I will not spoil the story because that's what this game is. This game is a story. I mean, it's not a game. It's a VR experience. And so I'm not going to spoil the story here. I might talk about a couple of characters, but I will not spoil the story. So when we first got our VR headsets, most of us started to wonder, okay, are there going to be movies in VR? Are there going to be TV shows in VR? How are they going to do it? How are they going to do a movie show? How are they going to do a movie in VR? How are they going to do a TV show in VR? How is this going to work? And the fact of the matter is, these companies don't know. No one knows. And so it's experimentation. And that's what we got with The Invisible Hours. The Invisible Hours by Tequila Works, published by Game Trust, is probably the best example that we have up to this point in time. The best example of how you can legitimately really do like a movie in VR. I truly feel that The Invisible Hours is the first true VR movie that we have. Now, technically speaking, it's a VR movie that was created in a game engine. And so it's a cartoon and it's running in a game engine, and you don't have Brad Pitt, you don't have Aubrey Plaza, you don't have Scarlett Johansson, you don't have Chris Pratt, you don't have these modern day actors. We're not there yet. That is probably, I don't know, man, that might be like 10, 15 years away before we actually have like live action video type stuff that could be done in VR and made into a movie. No one knows how to do that yet. But what we do know how to do is if you can create a story in a game engine, and you can give us a lot of different vantage points, you can create something pretty powerful. And we've seen this with The Invisible Hours. I highly recommend it. I think it's one of the best things we have in VR, period. And now the Great C is a bit different. It's a little bit different than The Invisible Hours. And the main difference here is with The Invisible Hours, I call it location-based storytelling. And I think that is going to be a very big part of VR, where you can have multiple stories that are going on simultaneously. Kind of like, what's that filmmaker guy, Reservoir Dogs and stuff, where they have the story, like all these different stories, and they're all kind of going on simultaneously, and it bounces from story to story. Location-based storytelling, where you kind of like move around from one spot to another. That's kind of the way The Invisible Hours was. The Invisible Hours was basically, we're going to make you a ghost and you can view this movie. This movie can happen and you can view it from whatever angle you choose from, but you're not going to have any agency on the story. You're basically just watching it. It's kind of hands off, but you get to watch the story. Now, the Great C is different because what the Great C does is you have no control over the camera whatsoever. And when you first start up the Great C, it gives you two different options on how to watch it. And one of them is a comfort mode, and then one of them is more for VR veterans. And so, of course, I chose the VR veteran mode. And when you click on the VR veteran mode, what it tells you is the camera is going to be moving around a little bit, so it could be unsettling for VR noobs, basically. But I said, you know what, I'll go ahead and try the VR veteran mode. And so I did that, And so as you're going through this story, what it does is it's switching camera angles. It's zooming in on characters. It's zooming out on characters. It's giving you all these different vantage points. It's giving you a bird's eye view. It's getting really close to where the people are. It's zooming in on their faces, and it's playing out these different stories. But the director, the person that's deciding what kind of angle you're going to get and what you're going to see, the director is still deciding this and has the control over this. And so you're basically being taken on a journey through this story, and the camera is controlled. So you have no control over the camera, and there's no button pressing or anything. In fact, I think this is something that maybe could be done on the Oculus Go, but probably not, because I'm pretty sure that this is running in like a game engine. And so that's probably the reason it's not going to maybe work on, say, like an Oculus Go or something. But if it wasn't running on a game engine, maybe it could work on the Oculus Go. And so you're going through this story is playing out, and it's happening, and you're getting all these different camera angles. Now, the thing that you might think initially is, if you've ever tried to watch like a 360 video or a 180 video where it's kind of trying to do a story, and it's switching different camera angles. Has anybody else noticed this, that when you're using live video or like actual recorded video, and you start switching camera angles, it's very distracting. Like, it's kind of like it's unsettling, because when they switch to different camera angles, it's like whoa, wait a minute, we were just on this other camera angle, now you just switch to this other angle, and it's very it's abrupt, and it's kind of harsh, and it doesn't work very well. And so one of the things I think that a lot of people have noticed, like Felix and Paul, is if you're going to be doing like some kind of video story, you don't want to have quick camera cuts all the time. That shit does not work. However, if you're in a game engine, if you're in a 3D game engine like the Invisible Hours, or you're in a game engine like the Great Sea, you can do these quick camera cuts. You can do these dramatic differences in these angles, and you can zoom in on people, zoom out on people. And because it's in an actual 3D engine, there's something about it doesn't screw with your brain, and it actually works. So I thought this was really good. I liked it a lot. Now we get to the price. So would I pay $6 for this? Well, what I will say is, $6 is a hell of a lot better than $9.99, right? It's better than $10. It's better than $15. It's better than $19. I think $6 is a relatively decent price for this, because I saw the entire thing, and when it was completely over with, you see all the the credits. The credits roll by, and so many different people worked on this. So many different animators, different voice actors, CGI animators. All these different people worked on it, and we've got to figure out a way to pay for this. And people have to support things like this. If you guys want more of this stuff to happen, you really kind of do need to support this. And here I am. Okay, I'm on this podium here, and we got this as a free code. VR Roundtable were provided a code for this from Secret Location, and we got to check this out. And so we didn't pay for this. And so I'm telling you guys, hey, pay for it. It's $6. And I know there's a million games that are out right now, and there's so many great games, and there's a lot of games that are like $12, $14. We're just talking about Wipeout VR on PlayStation VR is $12. Well, this is $6. That's half of that. Would you be better off taking that other $6, adding another $6 to it, you get Wipeout VR, or do you buy something like the Great Sea? So I know it's kind of an ask to ask people to pay for this. Crunchy says, if the $6 helps them make more experiences, I'm all for it. Well, it absolutely does. If enough of us do it, if enough of us buy it, it does do it. And so what I'll say about the Great Sea, I mean, I don't want to spoil the story or anything. Maybe in another couple of weeks, I will spoil the story on this, or kind of have a little spoiler discussion on it. but I thought it was pretty good. Some of the voice acting is better than some of the other voice acting, and the story itself is okay. This isn't Total Recall. Like, I don't know that this is Philip K. Dick's best sci-fi short story. It's okay. And but the cinemas, the way they do the graphics and the way that everything comes through in your headset, it is done really well. Those of you that have played Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, and if you ever did the experimental mode where it looks like a little Pixar cartoon is like happening in front of you, that is what this looks like in a lot of different scenes. In a lot of different scenes, it kind of goes to this faraway look, and it really reminds me of Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice if you were playing it in the experimental mode. But then it also goes close-ups with characters, very cinematic, very good music, pretty good voice acting, and overall, I think a high quality production here. Now, is this better than The Invisible Hours? I'd probably say no, because The Invisible Hours is longer, and The Invisible Hours has that replayability where you can go back and see other things that you missed, and you can move all around the mansion. You have the free locomotion. You can move around. So I would still say The Invisible Hours is better than this, but this is a solid release. And so I give some love here to the secret location. And I think a lot of people, if you pay $6 for this, I don't think you're going to be terribly disappointed by it. You'll probably see the entire, because $6, you can't even get a freaking full-fledged meal at McDonald's for $6. You know, you're talking $7.45. If you're getting fries and you're getting a soda, it's not $6. So this is less than a freaking, not necessarily a Happy Meal, but this is less than your typical, this is less than a number 2 at McDonald's, you know, with tax and everything. So I don't think the price is all that bad. So I think it's something worth checking out if you love experiences, if you love cinematic, if you want to see where storytelling is going, because this is a different example of storytelling. This shows us that you can have all these quick camera cuts, and you can let the director still have very tight control of how everything is presented. It shows us that this will work if it's in like a game engine, if it's in an animated engine. We haven't figured out how to do that in live action. It's just super distracting in live action, and it really bothers us. So anyway, that is the Great Sea. I didn't necessarily need to spend all that time on the Great Sea, but I was pretty impressed by it. I liked it a lot. Okay, I don't have anything else on the docket, so I'm going to just go ahead and throw on a rando trailer here, and we can maybe check out some news stories. I have to resize this because I switched it when I did that one Great Sea video there. Okay, so here's a random trailer. This is Daracene, which I believe is coming in very early November. This is another game that we're going to be looking forward to in the not too distant future. And let's see what people are talking about in chat. Not a lot of people were really talking too much about the Great Sea, so I guess you guys are not all that excited for the Great Sea. Kevin Marr says he tried Blind the other day. God, was I bored. He was bored. I like Blind. I still want to get back to Blind. I don't know. I think Blind is a little underrated, but I guess the big problem with Blind is that it's just the puzzles just get ridiculously hard at the end of Blind. So a lot of people really have problems with that. And then Fluke says, sorry, Anthony, got distracted with chat. A few of us live weirdly close to each other. If you could just go over that Great Sea thing again. Sure. See you in Toledo, baby. No, yeah, that would take me a long time to get through the Great Sea thing again. But yeah, no, Gary was talking about having a UK VR meetup. So you guys should definitely get in touch with Gary all about that, because I know he wants everybody to meet up there. And I need to come to England at some point and meet a lot of you guys. Definitely hope to do that at some point in the not too distant future. Make my first ever trip. I've never been to England, never been to London. Definitely would love to check that out. That would be super cool. And also have an opportunity to maybe meet a lot of you guys. That would be awesome as well. Okay, so let's see. I'm just looking for another trailer to throw on here. I'll throw on a Bout of Blood trailer. Okay, yeah, so let's go ahead and see if there are some news stories I can Let me refresh Upload VR, and we'll take a quick check on what Upload VR has going on here. Just wanted to update that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to web browser with VR window, with a little mini window here. And so this is Upload VR, and they're talking about VR game releases for October 2018. Actually, you know what? Let me click on this. Let's see what they have lined up. What they're saying is coming in October 2018. Obviously, we've already had Astrobot. We've already had Twilight Path. This, I'm guessing, is Evasion right here. This is probably Zero Killed. All of these games are available right now. And then they're listing a lot of, Drunken Bar Fight, the Halloween version, 1943 Berlin Blitz. Zero Killed is available. Did anybody buy Zero Killed? $15? No one picked that up? Kind of curious about that. Of course, Great Sea. The Great Sea, which is available right now. And I guess it did launch on October 8th, so that must have been available yesterday for a little while. Evasion, of course, is out there. Red Lucid Nightmare. Has anybody tried Red Lucid Nightmare? I was kind of interested in that. And then the next big game that is coming later this month is probably Witching Tower. That game got delayed until October 25th, but that does look pretty solid. And then if we're looking at PSVR, Astrobot already available, Racket Fury already available, Home Sweet Home is already available, Evasion just came out, and then Heavy Fire Red Shadow will be coming on the 16th, and there is a demo available now. So, we kind of look at the month of October. It's a little bit slow. I mean, well, it appears to be slow because the month of September was just redonkulous. And I think we kind of need to catch our breath. Don't you guys think? I think we need to catch our breath. We've had a lot of stuff just bombarding us with reckless abandon. Oh, guys, dude, I totally forgot. Today is October 9th. Angry Birds FPS first-person slingshot is now available on the Magic Leap 1. Where is our boy Noah? Our boy Noah probably isn't in chat because he is at LeapCon. LeapCon has started today. Star Wars Project Porg. Project Porg? Star Wars Project Porg coming to Magic Leap 1 from ILM X Lab. Dude, I forgot about all this. I forgot about LeapCon. I mean, I knew LeapCon was Monday, right? I mean, Tuesday and Wednesday, but I kind of forgot about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can grab the trailer for Star Wars Project Porg. Very interesting name. Okay, let me look up Star Wars Porg. Let's see if I can get a YouTube video of this one. Not finding it right now. Let me go back to let's go back to Upload VR. I might just have to grab whatever. Like usually they'll grab a video and then put their little stamp on it, but let's see here. So maybe there isn't a trailer yet. So we don't have a trailer yet for Project Porg, but here it is, Star Wars Project Porg. The first developer conference for Magic Leap is kicking off in LA today, and the biggest partner to announce a product for Magic Leap 1 Creator Edition so far is ILM X Lab, which has made the experimental Star Wars Project Porg. More details are expected during Magic Leap's keynote on Wednesday. Okay, so this is something that's coming on Wednesday, and it does say you will need to gain the trust and affection of your porgs. Oh, so are these things porgs? These little bird guys? I don't know what the hell a porg is. I've never heard of a porg. You'll need to gain the trust and affection of your porgs by offering them treats and playing with them. Teach them how to maneuver real-world environments with care. Instructions from Star Wars' most meticulous droid, C-3PO. Okay, so it looks like you're taking care of little freaking... It's like a Tamagotchi thing in Magic Leap is basically what that sounds like. So that does sound like a bit of a Debbie Downer in terms of... I don't think this is the Star Wars project a lot of people were dreaming about as far as Magic Leap is concerned. But yeah, this is that Project Porg. This is what I'm talking about right here. And we will find out more about this on Wednesday. And so that's the thing. Tomorrow we probably will. Yeah, I've never heard of Porg. See Last Jedi. Okay, I saw The Last Jedi. I don't... But see, you know what? The newest Star Wars movies, I gotta admit, guys, the newest Star Wars movies, they're not really doing it for me. In fact, I think a lot of the newest Star Wars movies are almost somewhat of an embarrassment. And here's my little rant on these new Star Wars movies. I think they're worrying way too much about trying to be accurate to the old Star Wars. And I think what they should have done with Star Wars is like, okay, yeah, you've got all this back history, but Star Wars is this gigantic... Crunchy says, uh-oh, here we go. And Dr. Freeman says, look, I 100% agree. He knows where I'm going on this one. And so here's my thought process on the whole Star Wars thing. Like, I don't want to see a Star Wars movie and see a freaking talking lobster in the movie, okay? The calamari or whatever. I do not want to see a talking lobster in the movie. The second I see a talking lobster, you've lost me, bro. You've lost me. You've completely lost me as a viewing individual. I basically have tuned the movie out, and I'm now it's turned into a comedy. It's turned into a laugh tracks movie for me. That's how I kind of feel about Star Wars, and I hope I'm not really offending some people out there that are like hardcore Star Wars nuts, but they lost me with that stuff. That stuff worked in the 70s, the late 70s. That stuff worked in the 80s. But that does not work now. What they should have did with Star Wars, and calamari were in the original trilogy. Yeah, the lobster people, right? So they may have been in the original trilogy. I understand that. And it's a trap. That worked in the late 70s. It worked in the early 80s and mid 80s. It does not work in the year 2017, 2018. No, it doesn't work. What I think they should have did with Star Wars is you got this huge entire universe. You got this certain way that Star Wars is. Let us see a different part of the Star Wars universe, and like, don't even worry about Han Solo and Leia and Luke and all. Create new characters. Don't get stuck with these old characters. It's like they're trying to relive dreams past, and I think the more they try to relive these old dreams, anyway, that's my rant on that. So that's why I'm not that into these Star Wars movies. I got to be honest with you. I just think they kind of dropped the ball. I mean, I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. I really did. So I'm trying to see if there's any other major information that we got here in terms of news. So I'm gonna go back. Crunchy says Rogue One was good. Dude, Rogue One was good up until the very second that they showed the computer animated Moff Tarkin, or General Moff Tarkin, or whatever his name is, the computer animated one. Nah, man, they lost me the second I saw a computer animated guy, and I saw that they're legitimately trying to play it off like this computer animated guy is like part of the world. I was like, dude, your tech is not there yet. No, this is a major mistake by trying to see, and that's what they get for trying to stick so closely to the existing Star Wars universe and have all these old characters come back. No, create something brand new for a new generation. Let it have the Star Wars flavor and the Star Wars vibe. So no, I'm not a fan of Rogue One. The only new Star Wars movie I liked was J.J. Abrams, that first movie, where Han dies and all that. Spoiler, Han dies. That first movie, I thought that one was pretty good. And it's a freaking achievement compared to all the other new ones, in my opinion. And I haven't seen the Han Solo movie or any of that. But let's get off of the movies for a second here. But I want to switch back to the news real quick. Back to the news. So Beat Saber could be Oculus Quest's killer app. Absolutely. Beat Saber could be huge. This better be a launch game for the Quest. Like hyperbolic magnetism, Beat Games, whatever these guys want to call themselves, they need to start hiring some extra people. And Beat Saber has sold enough. It's sold enough. Hire some additional programmers, because the PlayStation VR version of Beat Saber, I'm going to tell you right now, like straight up, here is another rant. Somebody take this clip and send it to Beat Games, send it to Hyperbolic Magnetism, Beat Saber PlayStation VR. If this is not available prior to Thanksgiving, you have failed us all. You have failed the entire PlayStation VR community because, dude, Thanksgiving, all these family gatherings on Thanksgiving, how awesome would it be if Beat Saber maybe comes out like a week or two prior to Thanksgiving so everybody can bring their PlayStation VR setups to Thanksgiving and they can put everybody in the Thanksgiving party into Beat Saber. That would do wonders for the proliferation of VR if you could have a nice fun party with Beat Saber at your Thanksgiving Day party, right? But if this isn't available prior to Thanksgiving, they freaking dropped the ball, man. And so Sony, they need to helicopter some people in freaking parachutes where they drop them in and they invade Hyperbolic Magnetism's development studio and be like, dude, we got to bang this thing out. This game needs to go gold. It needs to be ready. This needs to be a pre-Thanksgiving release. If this doesn't make Thanksgiving, they freaking blew it, in my opinion. That's my little rant on Beat Saber. And then this other news story here. The Sony CEO confirms company is working on next-gen hardware. Gee, you really think they're working on next-gen hardware? That is a shocker of shockers. No, of course, no one is shocked by that. And of course, when he's talking about next-gen hardware, he could simply be talking about PlayStation 5. And if you go to NeoGAF and all the different websites that are kind of in that realm there, everybody there is predicting November 2019 because of 7 nanometer and AMD and all this stuff. So maybe PlayStation 5 in November 2019, which I think is actually a relatively good idea. It's relatively a good idea to have PS5 in November 2019 if PSVR 2 is going to be an accessory to PlayStation 5, because then that gives you a 1-year delay to bring out PSVR 2, because it's going to be a lot to ask people to buy a PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2 in the same calendar year. That's just asking too much. It's the exact same situation that Oculus would be in if they were going to try to have the Oculus Quest available in 2019 and also have CV2 available in 2019. It's too much. It's too much. You can say it's two different audiences, but no, they're selling to the same hardcore enthusiasts. They need the hardcore Oculus Rift enthusiasts to pick up a Quest as a holdover until CV2 comes out, because they need all those people buying it right away like that. So I'm really hoping November 2019 PlayStation 5. Some people say there's no chance that PS5 is coming that early, that instead it's going to be November 2020. It's an entire year later. And then PSVR 2, where does that come in? And then I'm kind of, honestly, I'm kind of interested in this idea. The more and more and more I think about this, I kind of feel like PlayStation should scrap the idea of PlayStation VR being an accessory. Scrap it. Scrap that idea and run with the Oculus Quest idea and turn PSVR 2 into a standalone platform that is all in one. I think that's where we need to go. And I think with a Snapdragon 845 that is overclocked with some active cooling, it could basically, you could port a lot of PSVR games over there. So I think that will work. So that's kind of my thoughts with that. A little bit all over the map with some of this discussion, but it's fun to do that every once in a while. Okay, so let's see what else is popping off. Let me take a quick check of Road to VR, see if they've got anything new popping off over there. So let's go ahead and bounce over to Road to VR just for a quick second here. So Road to VR, they're talking about the Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL are Daydream ready. They're also very freaking expensive. I wonder about the Daydream platform. I worry about the Daydream platform. Is anybody else slightly worried about Daydream? I just feel like it's not really, I don't know. Is it doing well at all? 'Cause I want Google to have some success in this category. And then, I want to see what else is popping off. Let me take a quick check of Road to VR, see if they've got anything new popping off over there. So Road to VR, they're talking about the Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL are Daydream ready. They're also very freaking expensive. I wonder about the Daydream platform. I just feel like it's not really, I don't know. Is it doing well at all? 'Cause I want Google to have some success in this category. And then I wonder if they have a review of The Great Sea. Let's see. Philip K. Dick inspired VR story, The Great Sea brings expert cinematic flair, and I don't disagree with that. They don't have a review for it. They say it's available for $5. It's actually $6. It's actually $6. So that is The Great Sea. I'm a fan of that. And then they have their Evasion review. They're kind of saying it's rinse and repeat, kind of monotonous. Probably monotonous in the same way that like Marvel Powers United VR gets very monotonous. That gameplay gets very monotonous. Borderlands 2, obviously the big story of the day here, but we've kind of already beaten that over the head. And Sennheiser and Magic Leap are hooking up to unveil Ambio AR1 spatial audio headphones. So that's kind of interesting. Some more Magic Leap information is Magic Leap 1 is now shipping across the entire USA, and it's offering 0% financing, guys. 0% financing. So isn't everybody going to run out there and buy Magic Leap 1 now that there's 0% financing? You can go ahead and pay your $2,500 or whatever it is over the next 25 years at 0%. Now, I'm not sure exactly how that would work out. Okay, so let me see what they're doing here. So it's being offered to all states in the lower 48, 0% financing to help developers jump the mental hurdle of plunking down $2,300 for the device. And that monthly payments can be scheduled for 12, 18, and 24-month periods with payments as low as a mere $96. So for a mere $96, you too can play Dr. Groorbort's. And I got to message Noah and find out, dude, are you playing Dr. Groorbort's? Is it out already? I mean, I know he's at LeapCon and he's probably meeting a lot of people, talking to a lot of people, and doing that. And so I don't know if he's had a chance to play Dr. Groorbort's. I'm still interested in that. I really am. I'm gonna be covering that Leap conference a little bit tomorrow in terms of the stuff that's going to go on over there. I definitely want to see what's happening with that. Okay, so what I thought I would do, we're about to bounce out of here. We've been going for a while, but I thought I'll take a last quick check at the Vive subreddit. Let's take a quick check on the Vive subreddit because Borderlands 2 VR trailer, this is the #1 story over here, and it's no surprise. And I got to imagine there's a lot of relatively disappointed people over here that cannot believe this is a PSVR exclusive. Let me go ahead and click on these comments here. And ML Abrams with 109 points says, went from 0 to 100 to 0 in such a short amount of time. Basically saying as soon as they found out that this was an exclusive, it was a freaking bomb as far as they're concerned. And another guy saying single player is killing it as well. And you know what? Honestly, this is just sour grapes. Let's be honest about it. This is sour grapes. It's very similar how it was with Skyrim VR. None of us really likes exclusivity, but it's a necessary evil, man. It's a necessary evil in these early days of VR. It just is a reality that we have to deal with. And so let's just kind of get over it and move on with our lives. And then the Great Sea looks interesting and just came out today. I'm gonna go ahead and click on this and see if there's any comments from some people that have tried it. Krista says, I just watched this. I enjoyed it, although it took a bit to get used to some of the camera angles. The story is most definitely Philip K. Dick. It is worth the $6. And so it does seem like most of the people that have tried this are kind of cool with it. I thought it was good. I hope you guys don't return this. You know, remember our entire discussion yesterday? Do not buy the Great Sea, watch it 2 different times, and then return it. Yeah, there's different camera angles, Tessrim, but the camera angles are not frustrating. The director controls it automatically. This is not the Invisible Hours. You don't have free locomotion. This is a cinematic deal. And it's basically like a video. It's basically like a short story, like a little movie that you watch. And there are different camera angles, and it's not that bad. It's really not that bad in terms of switching the camera angles. Because if you've watched like a 360 video or 180 video where they're switching camera angles and doing different scenes, it can be really frustrating. Like, it's really obnoxious how that happens sometimes. But in the game engine or whatever, in the engine that the Great Sea is running in, switching to the different camera angles are not that bad. The moving camera is not that bad. I did not get motion sick in any way, shape, or form, but I do have my sea legs. Fluke Rogie says, I'm going to have to rewind and watch Anthony's comments on the Great Sea. I genuinely missed what he said because of chat. And I commented for a long-ass time about it, so you'll be able to watch that for a while. And John Mardo says, hey, look at HBO, look at Netflix, Hulu, look at all their exclusives. It's kind of the world that we live in right now, you know, man. It's basically the world that we live in. Sony, the good news with Sony, here's the good news for Sony. The good news for Sony is they're willing to have very short-timed exclusives. We saw it with Moss. Moss was a very, very short exclusive. I mean, it came out on PSVR. Bam! It was like a month later, like a little over a month. It was like a 45-day exclusive, and then bam, it was available. So if Borderlands 2 is that kind of a delay, it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. Now, if it's a 6-month delay, it's kind of painful. It really is, but hopefully we got to hope it's a shorter exclusive. So that's going to do it, folks. Pretty much gone through most of this today, and tomorrow we might be a little bit heavy on Magic Leap. We'll have to see what happens. I think that conference starts at 9 a.m., so I'll probably try to watch some of it. I kind of want to see some of the trailers and things that they show for some of their more fleshed out experiences. I imagine we'll have maybe some interesting Magic Leap videos to show, so we might get into a little bit of that tomorrow. Noah is still going to be at the LeapCon, so we won't really have much of Noah. Maybe on Thursday Noah could join us for a little bit. Or what I might do is I might have just like a little bonus episode where, like, say Thursday evening, maybe Noah comes on for about 20 minutes to a half an hour, and we just kind of talk about all the LeapCon stuff, all the information that came out of LeapCon and some Magic Leap stuff. Might get into that tomorrow. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I am going to throw on my outro trailer. I made it through another episode somehow, some way, and that is a beautiful thing. And we made it. And hopefully maybe I got an evasion code waiting for me. Maybe I'll finally have some thoughts on evasion. That would be nice. But this has been the VR Game Rankings YouTube channel. We do have a website. You can, of course, check that out. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Like the video if you could. Tell a buddy about this channel. Although we're going to be moving soon, but we'll worry about that when that happens. We will be moving soon. A new bat channel, not a new time, same bat time, new bat channel. That will be coming soon. I'm looking forward to that. Finally, that will be awesome. And that basically is going to do it for today. And I will see everybody tomorrow at 11 a.m. Hopefully, 11 a.m. Hopefully, Job, get here a little bit early, Job. Please, spare us, Job. We'd love it a lot if Job got here a little bit early. Yeah, the Discord is coming, guys. The Discord server is coming. All right, then. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy. Later.